conscious of the reader, right? And most of those writers have a specific type of reader in mind. They use words specifically to create a world only for themselves and the reader. There shouldn't be a huge number of people who can read something like that and actually understand it properly. But these journals are written with the perfect reader who can understand and share the writer's feelings in mind. And that's some pretty lonely work, really. Don't you think? These people have the entire world as their audience, and yet they sit there writing up stuff that nobody can really understand. That's art in general, though. But, I would say that's more just the human experience. Like, you're always putting on some type of performance or doing something in the hopes that somebody else can understand you or what you're doing and what you're trying to say. Even when you learn the same language and use the same words, there's no guarantee that whoever's listening to you will understand perfectly what you're saying. Even if you do try to explain it with, like, very specific definitions and such, or try to put examples of it into your writing, there's still no guarantee that people would get it wrong. Thank you for the follow, Cake. Cake. I've never seen this type of argument used for, like, online journals, or, like, to explain why they're so lonely. These aren't even messages or real statements, or people who crave attention. They're just little tweets and Twitters. Hang on, 1999. I can't. It literally can't. Like, you're just saying that to replicate a bird. Yeah, Twitter launched in July 15th, 2006. And this came out, like, 7 years before that. Though, the translation is modern. So maybe... I'm gonna chalk that one up to the translation, or at least the modern translation. But I guess this sort of thing is necessary. To young people, at least. What, these tweets and Twitters are necessary? Yes. But, God, do I have to explain this? Because what he's actually talking about is microblogging, or at least the original, like, microblogging. Like Blogspot or whatever, where people could just write their life blogs or reviews of stuff. Back when the web was a lot more open. Because no, blogspots were popular. That's how bloggers even became a thing. people were just interested in reading other people's thoughts. Like, it's nothing new. Even going from like a huge blog page to some 140? To like 140 characters. People like hearing other people's opinions and thoughts. Eventually you see kind of what happens when things might go a little off the rails, but no, people are inquisitive like that. And especially for a generation that grew up entirely, well, because I'm trying to come at this from like two different perspectives. I'm coming at this as of where this was written it was originally written in 1999, turn of the century. So I can't write about that perspective because that note was like most people in their 30s were like online, but even they didn't have full understanding of what they were using. But then came what I will say is the generation after that, the Lord generation, I will say. And then you get more netizens who kind of grew up with the internet around that time. Like people who were, I'd say, born after 95. Through 98? 95, I would say after 95 to, I will say, at 2000. I'll say that like some people probably got on a computer, or at least somewhat understood how that worked, like by 2005. Just like a little bit of time before smartphones. Smartphones was like the big secondary change that came up after. But no, people liked and people liked blogging back then. A lot of people had MySpace, Facebook, GeoCities, like their own little personal websites where things that they could keep up with. And naturally, like if you're starting off with that stuff younger, you're, I won't say predisposed, but you're more likely to be inquisitive as to how that stuff actually works. There's like, knowing Java in like, I think it was C#, C#, C+. A lot of people also knew HTML. They knew how to make their own websites. They knew how to do web design. And a lot of that stuff just kind of got phased out. Not necessarily like it ever became... What's the word? It never became useless. I want to use useless. Knowledge like that never became useless. Like you can still learn and still use HTML and JavaScript. You can make a very simple blog spot. There's a bunch of sites where you can make a bunch of things for free to function as that. There's Card. It's not too much even to pay for a Wix, like monthly, but there was server hosting, there was different things, like there are different costs to different things like that. Some people also, depending on how much you were paying at the time when it came to internet, like your upload speeds, what you could really kind of do, download speeds and all this other stuff. So text was very convenient. Just less to load, put text up there, like people read. It's weird to say as like a past tense part of the internet where like a lot more people kind of read, because that's kind of all that there really was on the internet. At least not necessarily only, but here would be a good example. The jump from 480p to 720p was very interesting. The jump from 480p videos online to proper HD 720p videos. Probably one of the biggest factors in changing how a lot of people browse the internet, or at least like popularity of sites like YouTube, or anything that could host video like that, including something like Machinima. Tie that back in with like how WebMs became a format, like very high quality, low on space, full videos with sound. Like that was practically revolutionary. I still remember like the first one. I think the first one was like for some dude clipping something in Titanfall. At least the first one that I saw, it was a webm of a dude doing stuff in Titanfall. But when it came to stuff like your own MySpace or GeoCities or stuff like that, like, yeah, why would you not write for your own audience in mind? Like, there's so many other places that other people could go to, and it's not necessarily like curated. It's just, if somebody stumbled on your blog and they liked it, why would they not like it because it was either quote unquote written for them or written in a way that was very drawn to them? Coming across a blog that you really liked was like finding a new author that you really resonated with. Even if you didn't necessarily understood everything, or you feel like you understood it in a way that like only you understood it, it still had a more personal connection as opposed to Blue Sky. Not even saying that Blue Sky does it badly. Like, just, no, people like microblogging, people like posting, like, quick 300-something character little lines, their own little jokes and stuff like that. But all that being in one place means that, for lack of a better term, it is kind of just like content, where it is just like, oh, something that somebody can scroll through, read, and then move on to the next thing. Like, there's more. Like, your post isn't what that person is only seeing. They are seeing your post. They are seeing somebody else's post. They're seeing a meme account's post. They're seeing a news post. They're seeing vastly different swaths of microblogging within fractions of seconds, just like right next to each other. But like, we still come back to that. Even Discords are still kind of like that, where like different Discords have their own little cultures. They develop in their own different ways. People talk to each other in different ways. There's certain customs that are common in one type of Discord that are just not in another. A lot of the internet as a whole, both before 1999 and after even 2010, I'll say 2010, it's just like as a quote unquote long ago example. A lot has changed, but a lot has not. A lot has mostly kind of stayed the same. People are drawn to personalities back then. People are still drawn to personalities now. Regardless of if you're uploading at 1920 by 1080p live over the internet through a stream with high quality video and audio. A 720p video uploaded to YouTube about, I'd say like, what, 15 years ago? Or you having like a little blog spot saying that like, oh, I made this recipe, I liked it because I switched out the avocados for strawberries and it made it special to me. I think a lot of it just comes down to people liking art and people liking how other people are different in their own little ways. They're interested in each other. People are interested in each other. People are a social species, after all. So even if it's not like direct face-to-face contact, we still want something. We still want that connection in some way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Very professional if you're curious of my thoughts. Hell, like that's the reason why I even have a Substack and Blue Sky and my own Discord. Not so shameless plug, but no, because I have it there because I do this because maybe it's there for someone. Maybe somebody finds my thoughts interesting, or maybe they just like how I sound, or they just like seeing an alchemist talk for however long about whatever thing comes up. That's what makes the internet kind of cool. Even amidst a bunch of the very big and present downsides that it can bring and carry. That and quietly bringing these things to light as well. And you read a lot of this kind of shit, huh? Yes, I'm sick, I suppose.